Rob, welcome to the show.
Wow, what an honor. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We are honored to have you. We were super bummed to see you go. One of our household members, Zach, who works for us,
the greatest,
was incredibly excited that you got casted and was talking about how well he thought you were going to do. And obviously we're super bummed. But, as the show goes, so much is out of your control. And it really seems like now that we're it's the fourth season. Yeah. Am I right? Mm-hmm. I feel like the rest of the non-gamers, so to speak, have caught on to the fact that you guys are really good at this. And clearly
not that good, Nick. I'm here.
Sure, but like early on, it's just like you kind of like Wells last year. I mean, it's like, what are you gonna, someone's got to go, and then like when it seems like when people just like get a name in their mouth, it's like as long as it's not me, people will vote for that person. But your case is particularly interesting because you got murdered in plain sight, and at least from what we saw, it sure seemed like you were kind of on them when it was happening. I don't know if that was as clever editing, but can you just kind of walk us through your murder? And did you see it coming? How close were you to maybe catching him red-handed? And I just want to get your thoughts and feelings on the whole thing.
I'm at the castle, and it's a sad night because Portia just got banished. And I just felt like, wow, this night is a very long night. I'm ready to go to bed. And it just was an endless night. And I just realized, oh my God, what if the Traitors are up to something tonight? Because there typically is a murder in plain sight early on in the season. And so I'm sort of like looking around, and then a freaking conga line breaks out. And it was not the kind of night where it was like, hey, we're partying, let's have a conga line. It seemed very out of the ordinary. So I went and ducked into a room to go hide, which I think anytime you're at a party and a conga line breaks out, go hide. That is, yeah. I think I
absolutely want nothing to do with a conga line, period.
You don't want anything to do with it, especially you don't want to be on TV doing a conga line.
No.
And I went into the other room, and then I felt very close with Tiffany, who I told about it. And I felt very close with Candace and Mark, and I wanted to warn them, like, hey, I think the Traitors are up to something. And then I had remembered Candace had mentioned earlier that this was not the first time she mentioned a conga line. And I said, oh wait, no, but you were the one that started the conga line. And I felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I didn't know if that was going to come back to bite. I think ultimately she never got back together with the other Traitors, so it didn't ultimately come back to bite me. But I did have a moment where I was like, ooh, I might have put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you felt it was coincidence or like you slipped up and maybe you shouldn't have told him that you thought that was happening.
I don't think I should have told Candace, but I felt good about her. She was somebody that I had been working with, but I wasn't trying to go to Candace and be confrontational with her. And I mean, could you imagine had Rob R not picked me to be the person to be murdered in plain sight? Like, I think it would have been a big problem for the Traitors had I been there the next day.
Did you feel like him and Renna playing chess was odd too, or did that feel normal?
Rob R played chess with so many people in the castle. I did not think it was specifically weird that I had seen him in that same seat with multiple people over the last couple of days. So it didn't seem like it was too out of the ordinary for me.
Rob R's plan clearly is kind of play that quiet, cool, good-looking guy. He seems really good at it. We got to
That's
watch.
what I was going to do.
Yeah. Equally handsome, but we got to see him obviously at season 6 and also interview him a while back. But he's clearly no dummy. But he knows how to play that kind of like, oh shucks, all I know how to do is be good looking, and it really seems to be working for him. And he really seems like an ideal traitor. Were you shocked whenever you found out that he was a traitor? What was your reaction?
I really was surprised. And I want to give him credit because I think he's done a really good job so far, because I did not think that he was playing the game like that. He seemed kind of like he didn't really care about anything. He was eating Oreos and looking for drinks and like hitting the fridge constantly. He did not look to me as somebody who really was very focused on the game. So he's got a really good cover going on right now.
What are your thoughts on Michael Rapaport, and is he playing poorly or well?
Are you fucking kidding me? Is Michael Rapaport playing a good game or what? Michael Rapaport does this guy know how to get screen time or what? Is
a performer.
Michael Rapaport not have he's hijacked the whole show?
Mm-hmm.
I had said instantly from the time that he first started getting all worked up, like, this is not a traitor.
Yeah.
No traitor would act like this. And there were people, he was just so all over the place that I think people were like, oh, well, that obviously he's throwing names out. He must be a traitor. And I couldn't get any traction in people thinking like, there's no traitor who would ever act like this. And so clearly he is not a traitor. And I had floated this. I had said this to Lisa Rinna. I said, Lisa, you know him. Like, this is how he is, right? She's like, no. He's an actor. He's a very good actor. I said, Lisa, is he a 24/7 method actor when the cameras aren't even on? Because this is how he is all the time.
This is how he is on his Instagram stories.
Yes. Yeah. This is Michael Rapaport all the time. So I did not feel like that he was a traitor, but I think that the traitors really liked having him as a distraction. And I think that me talking him up as I thought he was a very bad faithful who needed to go home. But I think that they didn't like that I was, making some sense with that.
Who were you suspecting to be a traitor out of your castmates?
So I had thought that, first off, I thought Dorinda was a traitor because I thought it made sense that they brought her back and maybe wanted her to be safe. And she was so calm last season. Remember when she got on the list for to be murdered, and then they didn't save dinner for her, and she went after Bob the drag queen and went crazy. And then this time she was marked for murder, and she was so calm. I thought, what gives? Since when is Dorinda this zen? And I thought that was suspicious. I had also thought that Jam was somebody who I did not think that they would do a season with no gamers in the turret. And of the people that were from the CBS reality shows, I thought that he was the person who would be most likely to be a traitor.
Well, speaking of that, to your point, there are no gamers in the turret.
Mhm.
And I am curious, how do you think that will play out? Because it's certainly an interesting choice by the producers.
Yeah.
And so far, it seems to be working because I feel like a lot of the cast is, like Michael Rapaport said, it's got to be a housewife, it's got to be a gamer, it's got to be one of them, and it's certainly not a gamer, and everyone seems to be like hunting all the gamers to just find one of them. And it really seems to be tricking everybody.
So while it did not personally benefit me, I think overall for the health of the show and for the franchise, I think it was a smart decision to do a season where you don't have gamers in the turret. Because even though I would tell Michael Rapaport, hey, look, maybe they have no people from Survivor or Big Brother in the turret this season. I didn't really believe it, but they did it this season. And so now for future seasons of the Traitors, that I died so that my future Survivor players can live.
Of course.
Donna Kelsey, obviously, she came on the show with a lot of fanfare and excitement, and she was the secret traitor, which, it makes so much sense why they picked her, but it clearly backfired because, was she giving herself away, or was it simply based off the idea that she would make the perfect traitor because no one would quote unquote suspect her or have the guts to vote for her? So did the group get together and say, you know what, this is our best shot. It's the most common sense, person, and or did Donna give herself away in any way?
Nick, can it be all the above? Because I feel like that Donna did not take to being a traitor in that way, where I think that Donna, as a faithful, I think she really could have made some relationships, but I don't get the sense that she really wanted to be a traitor. And then so she ends up getting the secret traitor card. And so she's sort of like thrust into this role. And I think she was just very uncomfortable. And she really only had close relationships with Ron Funches and Michael Rapaport. And so she was really having a hard time fitting in with the group. So she's already kind of disconnected. And I just don't know if she's a traitor at heart. And so I just felt like that people were able to assess that her energy was just very off. And also, what a great story to make Donna Kelsey one of the traitors.
I felt like it kind of isolated her even more
Yeah.
to make her the secret traitor. Because if she was one of the traitors, she would have at least had some alliance, but no one knew, so just like no one was there to help her. She had no support system.
Yeah, that's a great point.
She kept saying she was fans of anyone. I was curious, did anyone like quiz her? Be like, oh, really? What season was I on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seemed like she was really into Big Brother. I feel like.
Cute.
Back to Candace's big lie. I'm always impressed with someone who can just lie that quickly without any kind of thought. But she really seemed to put her foot in her mouth when she attacked Michael and made up that lie, which seemed really silly because it's like, you don't think someone's going to like notice that Michael didn't actually say that, but it really clearly affected Portia more than it affected Candace. What was your awareness of that lie and how much speculation? Because from our point of view, it didn't seem like Candace caught any heat from that lie. She quickly turned it. She quickly denied it. No one was like, wait, why? Are you sure? Are you sure she didn't say that? But like, it was shocking that saying something and doing something that foolish didn't seem to in any way put a target on her back.
So there's so much going on, and Michael Rapaport is saying so much, and that he did start off by saying, hey, there's 5 fucking housewives, so there's got to be a traitor there. I'm not a math guy, but that's a traitor. So there was that, and then he got misquoted of that he said, put it in a housewife's grave. So I think that Candace was talking about all this, I think, as a traitor. And Candace, I think, has been so fun to watch so far, but she's trying to, I think, hype up Michael Rapaport is a traitor. And so she was throwing a lot out there, and, good on Portia for trying to go back to the source and find out if he really said that. But in the moment, in that room, it felt like that Michael Rapaport was lying more so than Candace had been caught in a lie.
Interesting. Who do you think are some of the stronger players from, that you got to know? Obviously, we're speaking in the context of no spoilers or anything like that. But from when you left, who did you think were some of the stronger players that you think could go the distance?
So from my perspective, leaving the castle, Tiffany from Big Brother was somebody who I really felt very good with. I thought that she was somebody who was a great strategist on her season and somebody that I felt like that we were really starting to get somewhere. Monet is another person who is just super smart, has all of these different great relationships with people. And I felt like that Monet could figure things out. And I really had hit it off with Mark Ballas. And he's somebody who I think people were very unsuspecting of, but somebody who was a really big fan of these shows and was somebody who I think people were sleeping on.
Back to Michael Rapaport and Candace, and I just had this thought as you were speaking, wouldn't it make sense for the traitors to protect Michael because he is such a distraction and he's offering them so much cover? So if I'm a traitor, he's getting all this attention. I would want to keep Michael around as long as possible, because as long as Michael keeps yapping and pointing fingers, he's just creating so much confusion that no one can really, to your point, focus on who really is a traitor.
To me, I just thought for the faithful, it was such a win-win to get rid of Michael Rapaport. If you think he's a traitor, fine, he's not. But he was holding us back from having any sort of productive conversations. But the traitors loved Michael Rapaport. They wanted to keep him in there because as long as Michael Rapaport was in the game, that the faithful are going to keep chasing their tails. So that he has been really a secret traitor in his own way, because he's helping the faithful from ever figuring out what they actually should be going for.
Just a random question. What was the temperature there while you were filming? Because sometimes it looks like, they should be freezing in the water. Sometimes you guys are dressed up quite warm.
Such a good question.
What is it? Johnny Weir like fell in the lake, and I was like, oh my God, he's in hypothermia, and then he seemed fine.
And Nick, I'm sure one day you will be able to tell us what the weather is like in Scotland, but that it changes like on a dime. So that the sun could be out, then the clouds come in, and then it's freezing. And also in the castle, sometimes there's rooms where it's just super hot, and it's like, oh my God, I'm like sweating in here. So it is very hard to keep a consistent temperature at any point in the Traitors.
Okay. What are your predictions, Rob, going forward? Do you think it's going to be a Traitors game, or do you think the faithful will overcome?
You know, the faithful did get out a traitor at the last round table that we saw, but honestly, I feel like that Candace was the most effective traitor hunter, where I feel like that she was, from my perspective, at the round table where Donna almost went home, leading the charge against Donna. And then finally, it's so funny to see a traitor really leading the discussion of, hey, let's get this other person out who she doesn't know for sure is the secret traitor. I want to see if the faithful can counterpunch, because I think in this season, we have really, really smart and effective traitors right now. I don't really see a hole with the traitors. And sometimes you have a traitor that's like really the weak link. I don't see that so far with these three traitors that they picked.
Yeah, and they're really working together. For example, like Candace didn't know that they killed you. And you could see a world where Candace could have taken that personally. She could have been like, why didn't you include me? It's
no,
good.
She was happy.
Yeah, but like good for them for, working as a team, because they seem to clearly learn that from last season, where there was so much confrontation between the traitors early on.
And Lisa Rinna has been such a revelation as a traitor also, that this is a role that she was born for, and she's also been so fun in the turret.
Rob, can't thank you enough for taking the time. You got your own show as well that people enjoy listening to. Can you plug your stuff before we let you go?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. And I'm talking about all these competition shows over on Rob is a Podcast, RHAP, wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, Rob C., we appreciate you. Sorry to see you go, man, but we'll be enjoying the rest of this season of Traitors along with you the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care, bud.